And it gives you a chance to look at the crowd in the packed grandstand in the background, and particularly the ones they're coming to.
Well, he's just about in the zone for a toe, and you'll see Montoya just gradually moving towards the back of that Ferrari as they move towards the first corner. He had a lot of work to do, but look how much he's made up, and he takes the lead.
Fantastic! And the crowd roars! They love that! And that's his dad in the background with the beard. Boy, is this Grand Prix racing with a capital G and a capital P.
This is a good battle here. Philippe Streff and Nelson Piquet. Want to bet he gets him?
He should get him, and Andrea de Cesaris is right behind him.
Well, that's enough to make anybody move.
Which is absolutely, it's an incentive for Streff to get as far away as possible.
Andrea de Cesaris in the morning warm-up, he ran into Philippe Ayot, knocked his right front wing off, and then before the session was over, spun off in this car into a gravel pit and stopped about 10 inches short of a tire wall. He had the nickname Andrea de Crasheris, and he just can't quite seem to shake it. And here we have...
In 8th position, it is Stefan Johansson, 9th Cheever, and 10th Warwick, and sparks flying and a Ferrari blowing. That's Gerhard Berger's car, the spare car of Gerhard Berger, out at the conclusion of the second lap with obviously a blown engine or a blown turbo.
You see Mansell just completing the fastest turn, probably one of the fastest turns in Formula One, the Peraltada. And before the race, we asked Nigel Mansell, what does it take to do that last corner flat out?
That's quite easy, really. Complete stupidity, I guess.
Last lap. We're on the last lap of the race. Coming into that Peraltada. Block, block, block. Ooh, outside in the Peraltada. You can't do that, but Mansell did. An outrageous pass by Nigel Mansell resumes in second place. Gerhard Berger gave it everything he had, but look at the gap. Nigel Mansell came flying off that corner.
Ayrton, here's another look, I believe, at what just happened to Olivier Griard. Yep, lost the right front. I believe the tire went down, although we have seen young Mr. Griard out there doing agricultural racing for no apparent reason. But you can see this tire obviously blown right around the shoulder.
So quickly, he did the right thing. Montoya comes across the line.
Fucking Raikkonen. What a fucking idiot.
Well, I didn't understand what you meant there, Juan Pablo, but I mean, Raikkonen, I don't know whether he did it deliberately. It was just, I think, circumstantial. But no doubt...
In his second, 5th in his 3rd. I suppose he's going to be winning round about France, and that may not be so funny as a lot of people think. And there goes the spin, and that is Philippe Alliot in the Lola, but he's recovered magnificently, and now Alliot has been passed by Ghinzani. Ghinzani goes up into 7th place by passing Ghinzani, who had laboriously caught the Italian.
Gordon's comes Michael Schumacher. He's going to be on it very shortly.
Well, again, Michael Schumacher very slow, a 1:25.9 on that last lap. I wonder if he's got something like a slow puncture or some kind of gear shift problem, because Villeneuve is all over him. Look, he's going through. Oh, yes. I don't think.
Out goes Michael Schumacher.
That didn't work. That didn't work, Michael. You hit the wrong part of him, my friend. I don't think that will cause Villeneuve a problem.
All you can do is follow that rain light and then pull out of the way, and there goes de Cesaris on the inside. Arnoux doesn't want him to do it. They touched rear wheels. Arnoux is being pushed over in the guardrail, but de Cesaris, these are the two biggest, I hate to say it, but both of these people are considered the two biggest crashers in Formula One, but they somehow got by one another.
Now you have high intensity rear lights. How close to the car in front do you have to be before you see that rear light as a danger signal?
I think you have to push your actual helmet against the light to actually see it.
All right. Well, stay with us, Johnny Herbert. Lap 15.
But he'll want to dispatch Piquet or get past him or hopefully get Piquet in, and that looks like the Cesaris' car with bodywork off, so that looks fairly terminal. And he will not be missed if he's out of this race. He caused tremendous trouble yesterday in qualifying. He brake tested or moved over on Berger, who was on a quick lap in qualifying when de Cesaris was hardly moving, and brought Berger close to a very, very big accident indeed. And Berger was not at all a happy man. It really was spectacularly stupid. driving, and once again he underlined the fact that he has no business in Formula One.
That's Ukko Katayama, who was actually in 4th position out of the race with no nose on the Tyrrell, and he's obviously suffered from the fact that he was on slick tyres on a wet track. There's the replay, and that's where Michael Schumacher went off yesterday, very much faster of course. Bang goes the nose, spin goes the car, out goes Katayama, up into 4th position goes Parnis.
Terms to the Honda engines, and here we see a replay. That's the Lola Lamborghini, and Alio looking to be having his usual accident. It's not it's fairly standard for Alio to have an off at least. Well, that wasn't an accident, just a minor excursion.
And there we are, there is the... Now, if a Lacey has run out of petrol, and you can see by the body language of the Benetton mechanics that they are absolutely furious, because they know that a Lacey has been told to come in lap after lap after lap, and what does he do? He ignores them. Oh, Jean, you may well look a bit worried. You've got a major problem, Sunshine, when you get back to the pits.
There you see the car of, looks like Andrea De Cesaris there, and his Dallara crew. Okay. Okay. Good idea. We don't want to waste any racing. No, they'll give him a lap.
A couple of years ago, we've got a lunatic on the track down the Hanger Straight, 160 miles an hour the cars are doing as they come through there. Safety car out, of course. The drivers, oh my word, thinking about a pass there. David Coulthard on Olivier Panis. Well, what can you say? That is absolutely unbelievable.
On lap 4, the race and off goes Alio. That's Alio, and he'll never get back. Oh, well, he's keeping the car moving. What a masterly bit of driving, because he must have whacked it into reverse to keep it going across the gravel.
Yes, that was very quick thinking, but for a man who's had so much practice, he really ought to be able to sort that sort of thing out, because he's entertained us royally all through Friday and Saturday in qualifying by spinning various at several places. And as I say, with all that practice, he ought to be able to deal with a car that's spinning.
Of a magnificent 6th victory, Ivan Capelli. This won't, of course, have done his Ferrari position any good, because although Luca Di Montezemolo, the Ferrari boss of both the passenger and the racing car divisions, has said Capelli's position is safe, some of us doubted that statement, and Capelli has gone off and out of the race, out of 5th position, out of a possible 2 points for the team.
Some of us horrible cynics, yes.
Car of, this is, here's that, Rosset. Oh no, what's he doing? He somehow has got that car running, Luke.
He's decided he's going to get it back to the garage the short way by just driving through the grandstands and the gap in the Armco. I hate to say this, but a lot of people here are really debating whether Ricardo Rosset is Formula One material.
Well, it's a fairly short debate, Murray.
End of message. And 3 minutes to go.
He's coming up to Arnoux, and Senna has extended his lead to 4.2 seconds. And Prost has yet to take his fellow Frenchman, René Arnoux, who says, the reason I'm going so slow these days is that I'm used to turbo cars, and these normally aspirated engine cars are a very different kettle of fish to drive, he says.
And all I can say to that is bullshit.
So, anyway, there goes Arnoux.
Nigel Mansell now passes the pit entrance. He has but one more turn before the checkered flag waves for the 14th time in his career. Some maniac runs across the racetrack ahead of him, and there is the flag. Nigel Mansell, the winner.
But Ross could rely possibly on one thing. If Piquet knows that Senna is behind him for the championship, Piquet hates Senna so much, he may well let Ross by and then do his best to hold Senna up, because he really hates him. And Ross looking for the way, and he will be desperately hoping that Piquet is informed, because I'm sure if Piquet knew what the situation was, he would let Prost go.
126.519, Alain Prost, and that is under 0.8 of a second off the lap record as Piquet goes through and laps the notorious Olivier Griard, who tends to be another mobile chicane, and Piquet, the Brazilian, leading a Grand Prix for the first time for a very long time.
Well, there's a need for a bucket and spade job there, but there's not much opportunity for them to do it. It's Pedro Diniz shedding circuit all round the track. I don't care if the sun don't shine, he's going to go on, is Pedro Diniz. He doesn't know, of course. He can't see what carnage he's causing round the track.
The other problem that's going to cause, of course, is it's inside of his radiator ducts, which will raise the engine temperature. So I'm sure his pits have already noticed that, and they're telling him to come in the car, in the pits, because they will need to clear that, otherwise the engine will just blow up.
Well, it's the first Grand Prix I've seen where even the grass thinks it's so exciting that it wants to get onto the track and find out what's going on. We're on lap 15 now.
Well, you can see how slowly it's happening. That's because he just doesn't have the straight line speed advantage. But he does go by on the brakes. Will he keep ahead? Can he maintain it? He does. And Herbert goes through too.
Yeah, Mark Blundell, I think, decided that he would let Johnny Herbert through. Mark had been adopting the historical Maginot Line policy from World War II. They shall not pass. But they have passed, both of them, Fredson and Herbert. Now a clear track in front of them. You can see them ahead. They're a lap ahead of Mark Blundell, who is in 7th position. Here they come. Damon Hill is now 72 seconds ahead. That's a replay of a that is not very polite, Heinz Harold. Round the Grand Curve, and they go round the Grand Curve at a terrific speed.
Well, we now know. Ooh,
bang! What was
Coulthard.
That's
Coulthard
David,
blowing up.
David Coulthard out of the race. Now, if that's happened to him, it's academic now. What strategy? Schumacher's going for the lead in the Rosia. And he right up alongside and he's going through. Fantastic. Hakkinen fights back. This is magnificent. The lead changes twice in about 400 yards. And Michael Schumacher leads the Italian Grand Prix. David Coulthard is out of it. His Mercedes engine has said, I've had enough. But Hakkinen is not going to give up.
He's slowing down, Murray. I thought I heard it rattling as it came past the pits last time. Mika Hakkinen is slowing right down. Is he out of fuel?
Oh, this could be absolutely fantastic. He's got to finish his last lap. Meantime, Michael Schumacher at reduced speed will be closing up on him. And there is Schumacher starting his last lap as Mika Hakkinen tours. Is he going to stop? Is Michael Schumacher in the last knockings of the race as Hakkinen looks down into the cockpit?
Sparks coming out of the back of... I thought I saw a couple of sparks, yes. So it is a pure mechanical problem for Hakkinen then, not a shortage of fuel. Hakkinen, I do not believe, will get over the finish line.
And Adrian Newey looking there, bang, the engine's gone. And David Coulthard had the same sort of thing happen this morning in the warm-up. It was a hydraulics problem. And on the very last lap of the Spanish Grand Prix, Michael Schumacher looks as though he's going to go through and take another win. What an incredible situation. It would be his third, and Mika Hakkinen has pulled off. Michael Schumacher has just got to get there. He goes into the lead. Wow, my goodness, an incredible finish. This is going to be a mighty emotional occasion for a lot of people, not the least of whom is myself. And Damon Hill will be concentrating in the cockpit there, but when he comes out of it, his arms will go up, the helmet will come off. That is his wife, Georgie. She's seeing her husband become world champion. Now she's seeing him win the Japanese Grand Prix because he is almost home. This is something that many people didn't think could possibly happen today. They thought Damon would drive a cautious race, but he fought. He fought from second on the grid. He passed Jacques Villeneuve. He took the lead. He stayed there. And Damon Hill exits the chicane and wins the Japanese Grand Prix. And I've got to stop because I've got a lump in my throat.